You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines: CSO'S reject cybersecurity and cybercrimes bill. Over 3,050 retirees storm Ministry of Finance for their pending packages. A local NGO predicts voter apathy in the August polls. In international news, Italian ambassador to DR Congo dies after UN convoy attacked. And in sports news, KAMANGA congratulates CAF and NAPSA and NKANA for making it to the group stage. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Kachaso breweries of Kalea compound in Mazabuka district of Southern Province have protested over Zambia's Sugar's decision to ban the sale of molasses, which is used in the brewing of the beer. Kachaso is a locally brewed traditional beer, better known as Maureen Mukia Kachaso in Southern Province. The local beer has for many years been a source of livelihood for a lot of families, hence the protest against the sugar company. Details in this report.
Worth noting that most local authorities, including chiefdoms, have banned the sale and consumption of the locally brewed beer known as Kachasu due to its negative effects on people's health, as well as curtailing laziness, indiscipline, and high levels of crime, among other factors. In this compound of Mazabuka district of Southern Province, what greets you is the smell of the residues of Kachasu, which have also been polluting the nearby Kalea River. 75% of the people of this community brew Kachasu for a living. The beer is then distributed across the country, and the decision by the Zambia Sugar to halt the sale of molasses, one of the major ingredients in the brewing of the Maureen Mukia Kachasu, has come as a shock. Molasses is a sweet brown liquid with a thick syrup-like consistency. It is made from boiling down sugarcane or sugar beet juice. The people have complained that Kachasu is the source of their livelihood.
Abane omuvyo ngo batula chata une uchachi toya ndabya utukucha emolini mukiyo ngo bamba inchito tabatunyi uye usiti isibalamba mubosha uye ushuka ulamba mubosha buno mondi pengete 1 million no ya kubosha kuyandira uchani ni umbe molini jalubira amana potulita potuyihira bana mapenze yesu potu abikawo kwa hebe akabo tuwamba kuti chichilipo bunamba nabanikire kuya free batwambira kuti bana banikire kuya free uti amana batujanne ja kuyita sesha tunakujana kuti akulya byo katutyani katulida so jimisha tungatwamba che tutandaola tajityani tajigo ali mubi akulombere akuli bambe naba oli molasses uti no bantu batulange tobe hina molasses nyoba ubikira abuzuba kwa abikira tawo chatuli chiteka mbo bali kwenye uti kotunga twaja na malita kutyani takuwo ino tulomba bya kulimba abasambala molasses abalo babidigiha muri baba ba polisi aba kabatu gwaye abalo tobe hina batuwe ulira kwesu tolomba bya
The government and other stakeholders has been working hard to mitigate the brewing of illicit beers such as kachasu and promoting responsible alcohol consumption among the people as evidenced in the enactment of the national alcohol policy. But these people were not short of justification for their love for kachasu brewing and consumption.
Batupaya makantri zina kuchoka myoba yamene ilula yamene bwera mu Zambia bati se mu Zambia muno tuone pamene tusunkira bana batulesa nanga kachasu silingana na bozi kachasu silingana na X5 bonse bipaya nanga chibuku sipaya nanga kaso sipaya bonse bipaya bati izo bakuti tupeze pamene tusunkira bana batulesa bazambia company si batulesa ku molasses bati tukaenda tutufune nchito kuja atileta 2 million balesa kugula molasses. That's why molasses kuno balesa kugwerako traki kagwera kuno bakapokola bagwira no tulankala bwanji bana ni aba bakangwa kwenda ku school tuzabapuzisa munjira bwanji okay tubapeleke ku company bana batu bonse bakabapuzise zibaza kwanisa tukabapeleka ku government ati batupuzisire bana batu government madezano nayo idula school.
Attempts to get a position of Zambia Sugar and other government institutions such as the local authority and the Zambia Environmental Management Agency could not materialize by broadcast time. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Some residents of Bauleni compound have accused the area member of parliament, Margaret Mwanakatwe, and the Lusaka City Council of allegedly failing to honor their pledge to remove the historical garbage in the area. Close to 2 months now, during her visit to Bauleni compounds, Mwanakatwe assured the residents she would, in partnership with the local authority, facilitate for the clearance of the garbage that's slowly forming a mountain. However, a check by Camnet TV News revealed that the garbage has not been collected, much to the disappointment of the people. Details in this report.
It is not a secret that waste management remains one of the greatest challenges facing the city of Lusaka, and Bauleni is no exception. Available data shows that Lusaka generates about 1 million tons of waste annually, equivalent to 2,700 tons per day, but only half of this is taken to the designated dump site. Random waste disposal is the order of the day in most communities. Bauleni compound in Lusaka Central constituency is one such area with difficulties in disposing waste, and the area member of parliament Margaret Mwanakatwe and the Lusaka City Council recently assured that the issue of garbage was going to be a thing of the past, and the garbage trucks were already on site to remove the waste.
It's meant to clear all this rubbish, and that rubbish from there and rubbish from Mulundu. So we're trying to clean up. In cleaning up, we're trying to find a long-term solution to clean up.
To protect public health, prevent disease and promote health in Lusaka and particularly Bauleni.
This was thought to be a thing of the past, but a month later, garbage remains uncollected, and the people have an appeal to make to their lawmaker and the local authority.
Chifuka kuchoka hapo hapa kulingana na mbavu za bakansela na MP wako area kwatu Lusaka Central bafuka wagaliza kuti zizaita bwanje hapa kuti basaoneka but ndiye bantu bantifoona ife kuti bantu tinga dalile ndio antidali hapo pale bamene hapo kuliba wilangwa.
The residents of Bauleni compound, I'm very concerned about this dumping area. I'm sure this is not a safe place for them to be the way it is, and knowing that this is wet season, everyone has to be very concerned about any disease which can come over, because there is cholera, there is also some other diseases which we can get over the same area. And mind you, this is the place where people are getting buses from here to work, so we need to clear all these things. And if the government can maybe do one or two things about this dumping area, I'm sure we can be very happy.
At least the record zero. Ndafende corona mini. Mwaona ka? Ndafiona mkapamoyo futuatenga futuapota hapa mini hapa. Usiku na msuba watu amosina amosi monga mini alini nao mbili yao siri.
Patriotic Front aspiring Member of Parliament Charity Lumpa could not fail to seize the opportunity to state how she would address the garbage problem.
It's actually an act of thinking. So we have to give people alternatives on how they can dispose of their waste, so that at the end of the day, we can all manage our environment in a very sustainable manner and allow us to have a clean.
It is worth noting that waste management requires the full participation of all citizens, and certainly mindset change remains a long-lasting solution. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A government's failure to pay terminal benefits to some pensioners has forced over 3,050 retirees to storm the Ministry of Finance demanding their payment. Camnet TV spoke to some people who were part of the group who narrated that they have not received their dues for the last 22 years. The retirees are now seeking answers from the Accountant General Kennedy Musonda as to why their dues have not been paid despite the directive given by President Edgar Lungu to expedite the payments. Details in this report.
For over 22 years now, these voluntary retirees have been demanding to have their retirement packages paid by the government. President Lungu had in 2020 told Parliament that government had released 2.5 billion kwacha to reduce domestic arrears owed to domestic suppliers of goods and services. The money also included the reduction of outstanding arrears to pensioners under the Public Service Pension Fund and retirees who are claimant under the Ministry of Justice. But to date, these retirees have not received their benefit and are now wondering why the order by the president has been ignored with impunity by those in the civil service. They are now demanding that Ministry of Finance Accountant General Kennedy Musonda should address the matter.
Despite directives being given by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia via the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Justice, nothing tangible has happened. As you are aware, there have been several statements, pronouncements by media houses. So this is another one of those. We're hoping that government can hear our plea again. So in the last few weeks, we've gone to several media houses demanding for our payments, outstanding retirement packages. So we hope somebody is hearing this time.
To their dismay, these retirees have told this reporter that some government officials are busy distributing money, yet they are being told that government has no money to pay them. The retirees have lamented that some of their colleagues have died without benefiting from their labor.
Our fellow separatists are sick, they are dying out there. People cannot pay their school fees. Children are not going to school. People are hungry out there. And we are asking the government to pay us what is due to us. We are not here for handouts. We are here for the money that we work for.
The retirees have since called on the head of state to quickly intervene into the matter, or that they will march to State House to get answers as to why some civil servants have defied the order by the president to have these retirees be paid their dues. Prudence Jota for Camnet TV News.
Action Aid Zambia, working with other civil society organizations, CSO'S, have condemned government's rush to enact the new Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Bill of 2021 into law. GEAR's Initiative Executive McDonald Chipenzi says if the bill is passed into law, it will be violating the Bill of Rights, especially the right to privacy. Mr. Chipenzi says it is a normal procedure that such a sensitive bill that affects the general public undergoes wider consultations and generates public and stakeholders' confidence and trust, leading to a consensus. He has since called on members of parliament not to support the bill as it is undemocratic and will negatively affect everyone. Details in this report.
Zambians will support all initiatives aimed at making our cyberspace secure.
Action Aid Zambia, Alliance for Community Action, Chapter 1 Foundation, Council of Christian Churches in Zambia, Gears Initiative Zambia, Transparency International Zambia, and the Zambian Council of Social Development. These are the latest organizations to join the list of advocates who have stood tall to condemn the rush by government to enact the new Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Bill of 2021 into law. While it is true that there has been considerably increase in cybercrime not only in Zambia but around the world, legislation of cybercrime law is key at ensuring that cybercrime is contained. But is the way the Zambian government handling the law the right way? Gears Initiative Executive Director McDonald Jipenzi, who represented other CSO'S, has stated that the rush by government to enact the law leaves much to be desired, especially that little to no engagement or consultation of NGOs, CSO'S, and other stakeholders has been done.
The inclusion of some of the provisions in the bill too are unjustifiable in a democratic society and clearly explains why citizens must be worried, concerned, and scared about the enactment of this bill too, as we will demonstrate below. We observe that this is a clear rebirth of the then contentious Section 67 of the Penal Code, which was nullified by the High Court judgment of 2014.
Mr. Jibenzi also says inasmuch as the bill has a number of progressive clauses, it has been embedded with toxic clauses that have the potential to violate the Bill of Rights and distort democracy.
That's why they say don't judge the book by its cover. Read it through and you see that it's either a good book or it's not a good book. And this bill, inasmuch as the cover is very good, inside here, there are so many evil. Mukati mlinyerere, monga the fig tree. Fig fruits. So this is what is happening, and this is why we are saying we are not against this issue of crime, cyber crimes and cyber security. We are not. But to start saying you will be intercepting my communication without me giving you consent as provided for under Article 20, which is the freedom of expression, the freedom of opinion, the freedom of disseminating my opinion, and you start tapping, that is violating my right of privacy. And that's why I'm saying, no, we can't.
According to Mr. Jipenzi, the bill such as this one, which affects the lives of many people, needs to undergo wider consultation and public awareness of the people it will affect. He has since called for the withdrawal of the bill to allow for further consultations rather than those by the parliamentary committee, which are limited in scope and reach. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Hope for Africa International has predicted voter apathy in the 2021 August 12th general elections. Organization Executive Director Chazingwa Daka says this is due to the way in which the Electoral Commission of Zambia is handling the whole electoral process. Mr. Daka says so far the electoral body has not been accommodative to divergent views from stakeholders, which he says is a recipe for a number of electoral disputes. Mr. Daka has cited the 4 days verification exercise set against the usual 4 months as something that does not resonate well with most stakeholders, especially in the country. The Commission has since been challenged to rescind its decision and allow both electronic and physical verification run concurrently for the usual period of 4 months. He says this will allow the people to check their details and be guaranteed as voters come August 12th, 2021.
Year's elections might be characterized with either voter apathy or a number of election disputes due to the way Electoral Commission of Zambia is currently handling the processes leading to the 12th August 2021 presidential and parliamentary elections. The truth of the matter is that ECZ is not accommodative to divergent views from the stakeholders. The rationale behind the 5 days physical verification of the provisional voters register against the 4 months electronic verification does not resonate well, especially in a country that is slowly losing trust in the processes, as can be evidenced through voter apathy and election results disputes in the past 2 general elections. First of all, to imagine that most Zambians will use the electronic platform with poor or no network, especially in rural areas, and that ECZ has the capacity to provide kits and personnel for over 8,000 centers at once can be better described as daydreaming.
Msanzala, aspiring Member of Parliament under the Patriotic Front government, Elias Daka, has encouraged electorates to verify their details as instructed by the electoral body, as that will guarantee them a vote in the August 12th general elections. Speaking when he visited Kathangwira community, Mr. Daka pledged to work with the people in enhancing their living standards by lobbying from central government. Mr. Daka, who was at Kathangwira Primary School in Kathangwira area, also pledged to complete the construction of a house for one of the teachers, adding that the teachers deserve to live in a dignified manner, starting with good accommodation. Mr. Daka says he will ensure that the school and the surrounding areas are habitable, including facilitating for a good road network and good healthcare services. Opposition All People's Congress Party leaders Nason Musoni has condemned what he terms as the sustained culture of attacking political opponents while airing their points of view on radio. Mr. Musoni notes that Zambia is a democracy and every citizen is entitled to sell his or her ideas without being violently disrupted or disconnected through the illegal switching off of electricity to the radio station. Meanwhile, Mr. Msoni has counseled those who are under oath to abide by their respective oath of office they took, which is protecting and defending the Constitution of Zambia instead of hiding behind the veil of criminality and the sponsoring of lawlessness in the country for purposes of political leveraging.
The sustained attack on radio stations hosting different political leaders and those that hold divergent views to those of the Patriotic Front. I think this culture of attacking opponents whilst on radio, I think it's a very primitive culture and behavior which should not be allowed to take root in our country. First, let us remind each other that Zambia is a democracy. You found a country that was on track towards building a democracy, a sustainable democracy. But your behavior, you, our friends from Patriotic Front, is dragging this country backwards, for lack of a better word. Your primitive behavior is dragging this country backwards. How do you attack somebody on a radio station in an interview, having an interview? I think this is absolutely primitive, and this culture of primitivity cannot be allowed to take root in our country. And all of us must condemn this behavior in the strongest term. Okay? We are a democracy, for God's sake.
A humanitarian organization called Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights is appealing to President Edgar Lungu and other well-wishers to come to the aid of the organization and empower it with resources. The NGO champions the fight against gender-based violence, child marriage, among other issues affecting people and communities. Organization's Administration Director Maxwell Piri says despite the limited financial capacity, the organization has continued facing facing, it has tried its level best to ensure that issues bordering on human rights at their centers countrywide are addressed. Mr. Piri explains that domestic violence is among major issues the organization deals with.
Appeal to the Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, and the government of the Republic of Zambia to come to our aid as an organization for empowerment so that we too can continue with the fight of gender-based violence and child marriages. Inform the nation at large that despite losing one of our senior members of staff, who was the director of operations, Mr. Frederick Luketa, who passed on 17th February 2021 after a short illness, the Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights will continue operating normally as used to. There will be no changes. It will be the same Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights. The organization will continue. Therefore, our clients and the nation at large, they should not worry about anything. It will continue as it used to be. That those who can help the organization come on board and help us so that we continue with the fight of gender-based violence, child marriages, and all these other issues.
The Policy Monitoring and Research Center, PMRC, has commended government for restricting the importation of onion and table potatoes. PMRC Executive Director Bernadette Decker says this will help in enhancing production within the agriculture sector, as highlighted within the third pillar of the Economic Recovery Plan. Ms. Decker says there are several benefits in the economy that come with regulating imports of a particular commodity which is produced locally. She explains that in line with available information which shows that Zambia has the capacity to meet the demand for the two commodities, the restriction will not only increase production but will impact positively on the commodities value chains. PMRC believes that with the full migration to the e-voucher and the restriction on importation of the commodities, more farmers will venture into onion and potato farming. She says this will promote the diversification agenda. On Monday, the 8th of February 2021, government restricted the importation of onion and table potatoes. And moving on in the news, in a twist of events, the Zambia police have confirmed that on the 19th of February 2021, they conducted searches on various premises in some parts of the country. Among them was a household in Sibuyunji district, where the in-laws of the UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema were victims. Earlier, the police had expressed ignorance over the operation, a statement that agitated the opposition United Party for National Development, making them wonder if the country has a dual police system. However, police spokesperson Esther Katongo has clarified that the search was conducted by police officers from police service headquarters and were not limited to Shibuyunji but various other places. Ms. Katongo justifies that the police are by law mandated to conduct a search on any premise or person on reasonable suspicion that anything which is necessary for the criminal justice system may be found. She says the operation was not aimed at harassing or persecuting any individual, as it is being reported in some sections of the media. Some business entities in Mukushi Township have been stocking and selling expired assorted goods which may be harmful to human beings. Mukushi Town Council Public Relations Manager Clarence Kauma has told Camnet News that the authority has since confiscated and disposed of the expired assorted goods worth 10,000 kwacha following routine inspections conducted in selected parts of the town. Among the expired items were disposable napkins, nappies, assorted drinks, foodstuffs, and groceries. Mr. Kauma has since urged businessmen and women in the district to always check products, as this is the only way to ensure maximum compliance. He has since urged residents and the general public to ensure that products purchased are fit for human consumption by counter-checking the expiry dates.
We carried out quite a number of operations to see to it that compliance levels on expired goods is adhered to. What was revealed is that most business entities have managed to stock and file goods that have expired. We as the local authority are dismayed that this has continued to be kind of set up in our district, and as such we are warning business entities, we are warning individuals that are fond of selling expired goods to desist. We act in accordance with the Food and Drugs Act number 303, section 24(1) of the laws of Zambia, which clearly does not allow for the selling of expired goods. And during this operation, we managed to seize items and goods worth over 10,000 kwacha. And these items include foodstuffs, different groceries, as well as diapers. Our quest in ensuring that we provide quality service to the people of Mukushi calls for us to ensure that we continue with these routine operations. And therefore, we will continue with these routine operations, all in an effort to ensure that maximum compliance is adhered to in the district.
The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, has seized consignments of ivermectin tablets from 3 pharmacies, namely Matala Pharmacy, Chipata Chemist Limited, and Health Cure Pharmacy Limited in Chipata District of Eastern Province. ZAMRA Senior Public Relations Officer Christabel Iliamupu explains that the proprietors of the affected retail outlets have since been warned and cautioned for illegal sale of ivermectin pending regulatory action. In Zambia, ivermectin injection has been registered and authorized for veterinary use only. She says currently there is no conclusive clinical evidence to support the use of ivermectin for prevention or treatment of COVID-19. The authority has since intensified its surveillance inspection and advised the pharmaceutical outlets to refrain from illegal importation and the sale of ivermectin or risk prosecution by law. We take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala ko mutienda okuni gift na land. Uchenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest ina reverse gear na mawaipa.
Zip code chidi ya njinga, liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
nanga phone for communication ipunzisana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet difficult. It's communication. We got it.
Inemomi powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utola inoleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose nchishi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Hello, have you heard about Msika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Msika is here. Advertise on Msika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Msika, allowing your business to grow.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Honeybee Pharmaceuticals Limited has argued through its lawyer Tutu Ngulube that the products contested by the Zambia Medicines and Regulatory Authority ZAMRA were tested by it and the Zambia Bureau of Standards, and an acceptance certificate was issued in favor of Honeybee. Mr. Ngulube says samples supplied by Honeybee were tested a dozen times by a dozen laboratories accredited by the World Health Organization, and each of them produces results contradicting the defendant's results. In this matter, Honeybee Pharmacy Limited sued ZAMRA in the Lusaka High Court for threatening to revoke its license and for allegedly defaming it. More in this report.
Honeybee Pharmaceuticals Limited and the Zambia Medicine and Regulatory Authority ZAMRA had sought to settle outside court a matter in which the pharmacy has sued the regulator over its decision to revoke its operating license. Honeybee, through its lawyer Tutu Ngulube, informed Lusaka High Court judge presiding over this case, Catherine Piri, that the two parties had decided to engage in an ex-curious settlement negotiations, and so far they were making progress in the negotiations outside court. However, it seems both parties will not proceed with their earlier decision of settling the case outside court, as they have continued to argue against each other in the Lusaka High Court, with the latest submission coming from Honeybee. Honeybee has filed its argument before the court, stating that the products contested by ZAMRA were tested by it and the Zambia Bureau of Standards, and an acceptance letter was issued in favor of Honeybee. Other arguments filed are that the product it supplied were supposed to be analyzed by laboratories accredited by the World Health Organization and the United Nations laid down procedure when none of the laboratories used by ZAMRA met the criteria. Honeybee, through its lawyer Tutu Ngulube, further states that the samples supplied by Honeybee were tested a dozen times by a dozen laboratories accredited by the World Health Organization, and each of them produces results contradicting ZAMRA results. This is in a case where Honeybee has sued ZAMRA and is seeking an order of interim injunction to restrain the authority from revoking its pharmaceutical license and publish anything on social media and other platforms calculated to be injuring the reputation of Honeybee. Mr. Ngulube submits that the statement by ZAMRA are contradictory in the fact and that they were part of all actions preceding the dispute. He states that ZAMRA was harmoniously dealing with Honeybee as they pre-cleared their drug, hence they cannot distance themselves from the dealing now, as that is unfair and prejudicial to Honeybee. and that the decision to state that Honeybee does not have a license is an afterthought and this has affected its commercial credit. Honeybee adds that only 6 products of the 60 products supplied were flagged as being out of specifications. However, Zamra had earlier submitted before the court that samples of medicines and allied substances supplied by Honeybee Farmers Limited were analyzed according to recognized international standard and were found to be out of specification to said criteria. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A 38-year-old man of Lusaka's John Lane compound has been dragged to court for allegedly observing a 12-year-old girl while she was bathing naked in the bathroom and promising to give her a 20 kwacha. This is in a matter in which Brian Mando, a machine operator, is charged with indecent assault or annoying females contrary to section 137(3) of the Penal Code. Allegations are that Mando on the 18th of January 2021 in Lusaka for the purpose of and for motives of indecent curiosity or gazing or observing a girl aged 12 years old while in her state of undress was found in the bathroom which was adjacent to her dwelling house. Facts surrounding the case allege that on the material day around 16 hours, the 12-year-old victim, who is a grade 6 at a named private school, went to have a bath and Mando followed her. However, while she was bathing, Mando went to knock at the bathroom while forcing his way in and promised her a 20 kwacha on condition that she would stop shouting for help. The victim continued shouting for help till her mother came to her rescue and the accused ran away but was later apprehended. And moving on in the news, Born Short Living Tour Executive Director Ntalasha Chisha has appealed to government to quickly address the high cost of living standards and the escalating prices of major commodities in the country. Mr. Chisha has observed that most traders and vendors dealing with daily consumer goods have taken advantage of the current economic instability to increase prices, citing the coronavirus pandemic and the depreciation of the kwacha. He feels if government does not move in quickly to arrest this situation, it will damage the nation's macroeconomic stability and sink the nation into depth of poverty.
We have observed that most traders and vendors dealing with the consumer goods are taking advantage of the current economic instability to increase the major commodities of goods and services, citing the COVID-19 and the depreciation of the kwacha. We feel that if government does not move in quickly to arrest this situation, it will damage the nation's microeconomic stability and sink the nation into depth of poverty. It is important to recognize that the household is at the receiving end of this high costs of living. As a result, there is need to look into the situation at an individual or household level, especially that the expenditure of food forms the large proportion of the budget for many poor families. With the increase in food expenditure, we will notice that households will have less money to spend on things, to spend on consumer goods, to spend on investment in education, health, and literally their general livelihood. Therefore, the government must come up with measures and strategies to mitigate the effects of rising costs of commodities in the country. In this light, our organization urges government to form a task force urgently, which will include ministers, economists, personnel from the central bank, and civil society organization to study the situation on a continuous basis so as to recommend actions as would be necessary from time to time.
We take another set of commercials. To stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Super cereal.
We always start our day with nutritious super cereal. It's so easy to make. Just add hot water or milk. Fortified with essential vitamins, gives you energy and keeps you alert. Super cereal is so good for you. Comes in 3 yummy flavors: original, banana, and strawberry, and tastes so good.
Easy Super Cereal is made from non-GMO maize and soya and is good for the whole family. Found in all leading stores.
Super cereal.
Quick and easy.
Tastes delicious. Super cereal. Full of goodness.
Makes you stronger.
Super cereal.
Easy Super Cereal. Brought to you by Java Foods.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel. Tonight at 20:30 hours on National Matters, Pastor Moses Chilba will be joined by Honorable Bob Sichinga. You can participate on the program via calls, Zoom and text messages. Don't miss Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now get into international news. 7 election officials in Niger have been killed by a roadside bomb that exploded as their car was driving through the southwestern Tillaberi region. The votes are now being counted in Niger's presidential runoff election, with the result expected in a matter of days. In other news, the Italian ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo and a military policeman traveling with him have been killed in an attack on a United Nations convoy in eastern DRC. The Italian Foreign Ministry said in a statement the convoy was attacked on Monday near the town of Kanyamahoro. Here is a roundup.
This is Al Jazeera. I'm Daddy Nabugeda with the Check on Your World headlines. Italy's ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Congo, Luca Attanasio, has been killed in an attack while traveling in a World Food Programme convoy. His bodyguard was also killed. The attack took place at the Virunga National Park in the east of the country. Alain Waikani has the latest from Kinshasa.
What we know right now on this attack, first of all, the identity of the attackers is not known. but we are confirming the death of the ambassador, Italian ambassador, and his bodyguard, including the drivers. But officials from the area, they are confirming that the number of people killed during this attack may be higher than what we have right now. And also we have several others injured during the attack in the park.
Niger's President Mohamed Issoufou voted to choose his successor after 2 5-year terms. He could have run for a 3rd term, but is choosing to step down while other leaders in the region desperately cling to power. The election is coming at a difficult time for his nation, a point not lost on the outgoing president.
Niger is facing immense challenges, security challenges, demographic challenges, climate challenges, economic and social development challenges, including the immediate sanitary challenge posed by COVID-19. I'm convinced that to face these challenges, we need strong and stable democratic institutions.
As voting is underway, 7 electoral officials were killed in Tillabéri, a region close to Niger borders with Mali, Benin and Burkina Faso. Their vehicle was hit by a roadside bomb that also injured 3 others. There had been fears of violence even before the vote, especially in the region that's seen several attacks by armed groups. This is the man the ruling party chose to take over from the incumbent, Mohamed Bazoum, a trusted ally of President Issoufou and former minister of both the Interior and Foreign Ministries.
I have just voted after spending several weeks in the provinces. I visited several villages and had a lot of contact, and I wish for calm during this election, discipline, and that the winner be blessed with good fortune. I wish for good fortune to be on my side, of course, and I have many reasons to believe that it is on my side. I therefore look ahead to the future with serenity and a lot of calm.
His challenger is Niger's former president and prime minister, Maman Ousmane, who is running for the 5th time, seeking to come back to the post he held 25 years ago. Ousmane, who voted in his home region of Zinder, warned against election fraud.
Si jamais les citoyens constatent
If citizens notice that these elections have once more been fraudulent elections, I fear that the situation will be difficult to manage. Last time people were disciplined. We ourselves contributed to making sure it was calm and serene and tolerated the results of a fraudulent election. But this time, since you asked me my feeling is that the population is no longer ready to tolerate fraudulent elections.
In the first round of parliamentary and presidential elections held on December 27, Mohamed Bazoum secured 39.3% of the vote, while Ousmane got 16.9%. But without a clear majority, it forced a runoff.
Ahead of Sunday's election, the 2 candidates went into strategic alliances with Niger's smaller political parties with a view to forming coalitions. Analysts suggest the governing party, whose party won 80 of the 171 seats in parliament, may edge out the opposition, which has only 7 seats. But the candidate of the opposition insists it's the voters that have the final say.
The result is expected in a matter of days when the Election Commission declares a winner. 2 weeks after that, the Constitutional Court will validate or reject the results as announced. But for many voters, what's important now is to have a leader who can quickly address the problems of poverty, unemployment, and violence by armed groups. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera.
We now get into sports news. In sports news, the Football Association of Zambia, FAS Executive Committee, has congratulated NAPSA Stars and NKANA for qualifying to the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. NAPSA Stars won 3-2 on aggregate ahead of Kenya Giants Gor Mahia, while NKANA also qualified by the same margin ahead of Moroccan outfit TAS Casablanca. FAS President Andrew KAMANGA says the 2 clubs have done the country proud by emerging victorious from the pre-group stage. He says both teams faced tough opposition but triumphed. Mr. KAMANGA says the Zambian league is highly rated on the continent and the performance of the envoys testifies to that fact. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. CSO'S reject cybersecurity and cybercrimes bill. Over 3,050 retirees storm Ministry of Finance for their pending packages. A local NGO predicts voter apathy in the August polls. In international news, Italian ambassador to DR Congo dies after UN convoy attacked. And in sports news, KAMANGA congratulates CAF and NAPSA NKANA and for making it to the group stage. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from the book of James 1:19-20, and it reads, "My dearly loved brothers, understand this. Everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For man's anger does not accomplish God's righteousness." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Lisa NKANA, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.